Hi all, welcome back to my technical training in YouTube. So this is, after a long time, I am just, coming back with a couple of training session over the YouTube. This is based on few members they have requested. Okay, if you can deliver some training for the public community over the YouTube, this will be helpful. So that is the reason made me to, after almost 4 years, I haven't done any YouTube recording session. So today we are going to talk about Windows Server 2022 failover cluster setup using our Windows Admin Center. This is one of the fantastic feature, as everybody is aware, right? We can access everything over the web console. From there, we will be able to add lots of stuff, right? Like Azure HCA things, everything, right? There are many things compared to Windows standard server manager. So let me just make you too familiar with my infrastructure. Just let me just go through that part. I have two total physical servers, Node 1 and Node 2. These are the two physical servers. Both are 16 GB AMD processors and 512 GB of SSD disk. These are the setup here. Both the machine installed with Server 2022. Okay, so Hyper-V OS is role is installed on this. Under this node 1, as you can see here, there is a DC1. And similar way, the DC02, it's not DC01, DC02 hosted on the second node. Okay, and there are two nodes which I'm going to use it for this current setup, node 1 and node 02. Okay, let me just correct as node 2. Okay, and if you look at the physical server, there is a zero, and virtual machine, there is no zeros. Okay, these all are virtual machines. There are total six. The third one, which I am going to use as a iSCSI SAN storage. And similar way, if you look at the second node, there is a WAC01 that I am going to use as Windows Admin Center. Now we'll go back to my actual real missions, right? So as I mentioned, there is a physical servers that is node 01 and node 02. Okay. If I go to the node 01, these are the things are running, right? There is a DC virtual machines and there is a node 1. There is a SAN 01, which I mentioned, that is a iSCSI storage. All of them are running with the server 2022 operating system inside this, virtual machines. And if I look at the second one, I have DC02 and Node 02 and Windows Admin Center 01. Okay. So let me go back to my screen. As you can see here also I have mentioned how the spec for the virtual machine, right? Only for the DC, I kept one vCPU and 2 GB RAM, remaining all two vCPU, 4 GB RAM. This is how the spec all together. Now, the interesting thing, what we are going to today is anyway, there is a Windows Admin Center setup is not a big deal. That you can download the solution from Microsoft website and you can do next wizard. Once you set up in one of the server, maybe you can use as the same server. Just for the testing purpose, what I did was I just installed one server. Okay, that is called WAC01, right? There is a server called WAC01. In this server only, all things are running. Let me see what's the status of WAC01. It's in power off state. That's the reason I'm unable to see anywhere. Okay, so that is absolutely fine. I just powered it on back. It will come back in a couple of seconds. Okay, so it is booting. So now our plan is if I go to the Windows Admin Center, as you can see here, this is the IP address of Windows Admin Center, 192.168.1.110. This is the IP. Or if you have the, the host name, everything is registered with the DNS and all, that also will function as, FQDN, URL, all things, it will work. Okay. So if I navigate to this all connection, right, there are a couple of options: server manager, computer manager, and cluster manager. As you can see here, node 1, this is there is one node out of two I just added before this session. Okay, and the node 2, what I decided was during the actual session, I'm going to add in front of you. Okay, so that will be great, right? So as you can see here, there is a gateway server that is the actual WAC server, Windows Admin Center 01 server. I just call it as. Wherever you see the domain name, I just kept it as manucloudlen.com. It's a local domain, okay, just for the testing purpose. And what and all, version which I am using, everything is Microsoft 2022 evaluation versions. As you know, right, there is a 180 days trial which Microsoft provide. That's fair enough for us to test all our, lab and demos, right? So now let me go back and see what is the state of this current virtual machine. If it is showing Alt Control Delete screen, then I'm sure I should get an option to, yeah, we reached to Alt Control Delete screen. Let me refresh this page. Okay, it's loading. I'm accessing from one of my main laptop. This subnet is accessible. As you can see here, node 1 already part of it. And what I have to do is, let me add another node also. So that my plan is node 1 and node 2, I'm going to make a failover cluster using this Windows Admin Center. Let me just click on add here. The moment you click on add options, you can see servers, Windows PCs. This is refers to the client OS and server clusters. Here we have an add option existing. You can add and browse from the cluster options from here, or you can create new. And again, Azure Virtual Machines option, add or create. Once you link everything, it should work as it is. Okay. So now in my case, I need to add one more server, right? Let me just click on add button here. It take a while, and let me just paste instead of node 1, let me just make it as node 2. It's searching over the network and it's asking for the credential, right? Let me specify manually my credential. These all are, locally created domain setup. So let me enter that credential for here. Manu Cloud Land slash, that is a domain name. Let me try to add with credential options. Let's see whether it is added, getting added or not. Okay. We'll observe for a seconds and we'll see. It won't take much time. So let's see, max 10 to 15 seconds. The top you are seeing, that's a different thing. Okay. There are many extensions available for this, that's a different things. Okay. That's not related to this one. Okay. So as you can see here, node 2 successfully, I was able to add, right? Now I have the gateway server. Gateway, when I say gateway means this is admin center server. If you install in any of the, mission as admin center package, then you will see that as a gateway. Apart from that, I have two node, right? Now we are into good condition. Okay. And meanwhile, let me do one more thing. So, right, Windows failover cluster, if you are installing in a server, that take some time, right? To save the time, let me see the server uptime. I just installed the Windows failover cluster features already from the GUI. Okay. Even same thing does by the web console also. Instead, let me see. The uptime is it's showing us 1 minute, means it's restarted. And let me see the second node. Whatever you are seeing, 0, 1, 0, 2, those are a physical machine. Okay. Whatever node 1, node 2, which I'm going to use, those are, virtual machines. So that is research node 1 research on the node 0, 1. Let me see. The status is power off, right? Let me just power on. That's the reason it's not accessible over this console. Okay. Now web access console IDP session should work. Anyway, I'm already connected over the web. Now let's just wait for a while. And the another thing what I'm going to do is I'm just going to create a cluster with this two node. Okay. Let me just click on add options. And here instead of add, I just need to click on create new. Okay. Just do that. It will take you to the next steps. We'll wait for the next steps. Okay. So here we have two options. One is the Windows Server. Deploy a failover cluster to run VM or cluster roles and apps on Windows Server. Second option, if you have the HC infrastructure, then this is the second option. Let me go with the first options. And here we have an option to cluster aware roles and apps. Okay. And second thing is run virtualized workloads. Okay. So I'm just going to, go with the wizard on Hyper-V VMs. Next, these are the options, right? Select the server location. All servers are in one site. I don't have a multi-site setup here. Everything is resides on the single location. Then I'm just going to click on create. Many of you might be already familiar with the Azure console, right? This is also something, almost that kind of, experience Microsoft is trying to bring with this console. Okay, let me just click on create. The moment I click on create, I could see there are prerequisites, right? At least two servers with the supported hardware, one or more network adapters with the static IP, blah, 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 everything they have mentioned here. Okay, server 2060 and above, it is, supported. Everything they have mentioned, all the requirement, etc. Right? If you have the RDMA, all things they have mentioned. Okay, so let's say this is just a summary, basic page. Prerequisite. I will call it as a prerequisite. Here also I have an expand, collapse, all the options. Let me just click on next. Now, okay, specify the administrator account when you connecting this one, right? Okay, let me just give that account information here so that it will be easy. It will go its own, if it is already part of domain, nothing to worry. Just specify one time here. I'm just going to, add the specify the credential. If you have a service account, that also you can, you are good to, specify here. Let me just enter the details here. That is Manu Cloud LAN / administrator. Administrator. Okay. So now I'm going to enter the password. Let me see whether I am able to enter the server. Is that fetching? Then well and good. Enter the computer name or IP or FQDN. I just enter the FQDN for this server. Okay, it's showing us found. Let me just click on add. And another server also I'm going to add it in similar way. Note 02. That also scanning. And yeah, first one it's showing us ready. Okay, all the version, OS version number, everything is showing us green. Let me click on the second one. Okay, now we are good with the second node as well, right? Both are showing us ready state. Here you can see there are some, information to use the network HUD feature to monitor and address network issues. Apply this so and so KBs they are preferring. Okay. In our case, it's a test scenario. We don't need it. Okay. We got a green symbol here. So just say next. And already you got a message, right? The servers already belongs to the domain. Okay. It's already part of, domain. And in the moment I click next, everything will look fine. Okay. Now the status of, what are the things, right? Okay. Node 1, node 2, okay, all the things it is asking, right? So there are a couple of things it's not installed. Okay. Failover clustering is installed. Okay. So Hyper-V, I haven't enabled, Hyper-V options here. So let me go back to the initial pre-checks where we have specified. Let me click on back itself. Okay, we'll do it from scratch so that, do you want to stop creating cluster? Yes. We'll do it once again from scratch. Okay, this is not the Hyper-V, that nested virtualization feature I haven't enabled. So let me just go back to add options and click on create new. In here, anyway, you are also able to become familiar with the wizard again, right? Go to the first option. Okay, cluster our roles and apps. Run app directly to the. This will be the best workload scenario here. Okay, let me click on all servers on one site and say next. And let me specify credential once again. Now what I can do is I can just scan the similar way. I'm doing it everything from the scratch. we don't need, Hyper-V. Just like has, failover cluster is fair enough for this demo. I'm going to add, and the second node also I'm going to scan and add. Node 2, it is scanning. Okay, just say add. Okay, perfect. Now say next. Okay, domain join part. This under already we navigated, right? Okay, now the moment if I click next, okay, only these are the features as required, right? There is a module for the AD PowerShell, this thing. Earlier I have, as you remember, right? That's for the Hyper-V stuff, right? So we don't need it actually. So this is fair enough. And just say install features. Just to save the time, failover clustering features already installed on both the servers. What I did was I just, went to the server, inside the server, let's say node 2. The moment I go to the server manager, I'll be able to click on, add. This is a classic way of doing it, right? So this way, I just installed this roles, that is failover cluster role. Say next, next. It's not a role, it's actually a feature. We will call it as a feature. Under this feature category, this is installed. That's the only thing I did for the both servers. Now we'll go back to the admin center screen. Let's see, its installation and remote installations progress for this, both the servers. Let's wait for a while. Many of you might be familiar with, classical way of cluster creation, right? That you will go to the servers, insert this, then open the failover cluster console, then create new, etc. Right? So this is a different way of doing it, right? So from the console, how we are achieving, right? Server 2060 and 2060 and above, it is supported. We will just wait for that is the one of the reason, I just installed this failover cluster feature. It take one time restart, etc. So we can save so much of time, right? So PowerShell module anyway will wait for a while. Yeah, one mission it is installed. Second mission, let it go. Okay, just say both the installation, everything is done. That let me say next. That is optional only. We don't need to worry about the OS for now. Both the OS has the same setup. There is no difference in patch level and all. So let's say next. And now the moment I click on next, next tab, it is going to, okay. All the servers are, there is no pending restart, all things. Yeah, it says you may need to restart the server to finish the features installing, etc. Okay, fine. Just click on clustering part. Now we are reached into the second part, that is clustering. Now we'll wait for the validation part here, and we'll see is that all the specs are good to set it up the clustering. It take a while. We'll wait for the validation part. In general, if we are creating two-node cluster using normal classic method also, we will need to perform a validation, right? Similar way, this web interface wizard also does the same. Yeah, checking for a few things. I can pause the session for a while. I think it's already done, and it's validation. Okay, it's scanned, and I got an option to validate. Let's validate, and we'll pause the validation screen. Once the validation is done, then we'll resume from that screen. Okay. as you can see here in the screen, right, this validation still going on. It take its own, seed time. So thanks for watching. We'll see you the part two on the next video. Okay. Thanks a lot.